Hello, this is Kylie Koo. So, we're into the final week of the prompt Let's Journal in the Mixed Media Emporium Facebook group, and I'll leave a link to the group below. I have here a sheet of Seabrook A2 All Media Cartridge paper. It's 140 GSM, so not the heaviest of papers, but by the same token, really quite a sturdy paper to work with. And I think it's a really good value for money paper. At the moment, you can get the A2 size, 50 sheets in a pack for £8 from Hobbycraft. Paper these days is really expensive, and I think that is a really good price. So I've torn it in half and half again, so it's now 4 pieces of A4 paper, and I want to gel print this just to get some background colour down, and taking it down to A4 at this point just made it that bit easier to do. And I'm just going to use a mixture of craft paints but also the DecoArt fluid acrylics, and I'm going to work today mainly with sort of reds, oranges, yellows. I'll add in some white to lighten it in places, and also I think it's a Quinacridone gold, but I'll put a list of all the colours in the description box below. So I'm going to gel print all 4 sheets on both sides. Now I will whiz through this at extra speed, but I've left a fair bit of the gel printing in because I just wanted to let you see the way that I'm doing it and how working with the same colours over and over give me pages that will all work together. Because I'm going to make these into a small journal, so I want the pages to be different from each other, but also to be similar so that they're not clashing with each other. So I'll leave you for just a minute. Now, just showing you there that I left the paper on the plate just a little bit too long, and some of the paper actually stuck to the plate, but it's okay, that can be disguised with some more paint or collage later on, and just cleaning off the gel plate there. And what you'll see me do now is try to pick up all that kind of grungy goodness that's on the plate with wet strength tissue paper. Now, wet strength tissue paper is stronger than normal gift wrap paper, especially when you're pulling it off the plate here, although you do still need to be careful, but you could use normal tissue just to get this kind of same effect, normal gift wrap tissue paper. So I'll do this for a bit, just let you see that, and then I'll do a little bit with some black paint, just making some more collage pieces, and then I'll move on to using some stencils. So that's on a drop sheet, but that will be collage for future. So I'm now going to bring out the stencils, and again I'll put a list of the stencils below. It was the same stencils as I used for last week's project, and I'm just going to use some of the fluid acrylic now and just try and capture some of the markings from the stencil through there. Now obviously the paint that I've just put down has changed colour a little bit because it's still picking up some of what's on the plate, but you'll see me use both the main stencil image, and then when I lift it off the plate I get the negative image as well, so a 2 for 1. So again, I'll just leave you for a few minutes while I do all the work with the stencil. When it comes to the mandala stencil, when it comes to that stencil, because it's quite fine cut, I do need to just kind of work the paper in and around it a bit. Again, I'm putting this onto tissue paper. I've gone for a purple there, and it just needs a little bit more detailed working in, but again it gives, I think, a really nice effect. So I now have all my gel printed tissue, and that is going to be torn up and used as collage and put onto these papers that I've gel printed on both sides. So now it's just a case of ripping those up. I won't show you me doing all the collaging, but I will show a bit of it. And you know, I am not looking to keep those images intact. I just want little bits of it here and there of each page onto the back and front of each of my main pages. So again, I'll just leave you for a minute or so. I'm now going to make sure that each page is as dry as I can possibly get it, because I'm going to be tearing it again. Ideally, once I had done all the pages on both sides, you know, and I've fully dried it, what I then would have liked to have done was to leave them under something heavy just for a little while to let them flatten out a bit. But it's okay, I didn't have the time to do that, so I just moved on to the next stage. And the next stage is, as you can see here, I am folding them in half again. So this gives me A5 size. So I've gone from A2 to A3 to A4. Now I'm folding into A5 size. And I'm just trying to make sure that I get them edge to edge. you know, because I want my pages as far as possible to be even. It doesn't matter if they're a little bit out. But this is why I need these to be dry, because I'm actually going to cut these again, because I'm going to make an A6 size art journal. Now I could have put them together at this size as an A5, but I want them a bit smaller. So what I'll do now is I'll get a bone folder, just put a neater crease in it, and then I'm just going to use that same bread knife to slice through. Just being careful where the collage is going across 2 pages. Any little rough bits I'll just pull off if needs be. Now A6 size is just over 4 inches wide by, I think it's about 5 3/4 inches tall. So this will work out a little bit bigger than a field notes notebook. And you can see that I now have them all cut and into place, and so I'm just going to fold these in half again. They could be cut again and made smaller, but I'm going to leave them at this A6 size. So again, just trying to get the edges to line up as neatly as possible, and then I will use the bone folder, or the bold folder, to try and get a nice crease in them, because after this I'm going to be doing a simple pamphlet stitch to pull them all together. Now I've taken this Stays On ink in pumpkin. I was going to take a sepia to go around the edges, but I've decided the pumpkin should stand out nice, and I can also use it if there are any pieces where the paint didn't go on. If I want to darken any of those up, the pumpkin colour will work well with the colours that I've used on my pages. So just going to go around the edges of them all. That bit of paper there was a little bit white looking, so just added a little bit to that. So I'm going to go through them now and see which one that I want to use as the front cover. I obviously could have made a separate front cover. I did think about actually taking a piece of canvas and using that as a front cover, but decided, well, you know, I've made these lovely pages, so why not just use these as the front cover as well, rather than having to then decorate something else. So I'll just get them all neatly lined up. I'm just going to use that orange thread. I've been using that for a number of projects recently. Now normally I do about 2.5 times the length of the book, but I want it to be a bit longer, and I'm also going to double the thread. So what you saw there was me measuring out about 3, doubling it to 6, and then I was measuring the width of the book, and again it was about 6 wide, because I want to use this as the tie as well. So just using some little clips there just to hold it in place so that I can punch through. I'll punch through with an awl, roughly 1 in the middle, and then I'm going to put 1 from the top, about, I think it's about 3/4 of an inch. Didn't measure this at all, just eyeballing it, pushing that to get right through, again about the same distance from the bottom. All I do now is to push right through, just to make sure that the needle is going to go through all those pages. Now if you wanted a neat binding, you could start from the inside and just tie it off in the middle, but because I want a long length at the end, I'm going in from the outside. So I'm leaving that long bit and then just going up to the top hole through it, right down to the bottom, untangling it as I go, and then back out through the middle on the other side of that long piece going down the way. Now I'll cut my needle off now, but what I decide to do is just to play about with it so that I get both ends roughly the same length. So you'll see me just pulling it out, just going back over the stitches that I put in. Got to be careful to pull both pieces of the thread, and this is just an embroidery thread, but I thought doubled up, it just felt it would be a bit sturdier for this. And once I've got them to a similar length, just making sure that they're all tight, and then I'm just going to do 1 knot and then another on top of that just to hold it in place. and then you'll see from there I put a knot in the end of that one, take my clips off, and you'll see that I can actually go round a couple of times and then tie it. So I might put a charm or something on the end there. Now I've decided that I'm just going to print art journal on this. My ink is actually a little dry, so I will end up going over this with a pen in just a moment. But I just wanted to say I've really enjoyed all the projects that I've done this month. You know, I did the scroll journal, then the journal jar, and then last week I did that kind of grungy art journal page, and now I've made this little art journal that I can take away with me, take some collage with me, but I've got those pages started, so sometimes it's better than starting a blank page. You know, and I would just have a little travel kit with this if I wanted to take this with me, or I can just sit in the studio and work on it. But I really have enjoyed all the projects, and I will leave links to all of those. And of course, Nina will also have a video this week, and I'll leave a link to her video below as well. So I want to also say thank you for all your kind comments this month on the various videos that I've done. You are all very kind, and I really do appreciate all that you say. So I'm just going to take a quick look through this, and you'll see that by using the same range of colours on the pages with just that purple as a kind of contrast and a little bit of black, that really these pages all fit nicely together. So I do hope you've enjoyed seeing me create this. Thanks ever so much for watching. Bye for now.